I am curious what your thoughts were about Trump's speech today at Davos. And, he says that he's reached a framework regarding Greenland and and that kind of stuff. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are.
He basically gave the same speech today that he gave yesterday about the success of his first term as of January 20th. So that was not new information, but what was new was his discussion about power and the competition with the Chinese on power. One of the challenges in North America of late in the last 2 years has been the AI data center race and the lack of power on the grid, and that there's no more power on the grid. And so he spoke in some detail for the first time about how he expects to permit investors, to allow investors to invest in creating power from stranded natural gas, from coal, and eventually nuclear power. Now, nuke power is decades away, but coal and that gas are abundant. And so that caused quite a bit of commotion in financial markets, because what he's talking about is path to permit being accelerated. So the Chinese last year developed over 500 gigawatts of new power. 100 of it was solar, but that's useless for AI. But 400 of it plus was coal-burning electrical plants designed to provide power for data centers. They don't have to go through a permitting process. They have a supreme leader who dictates and mandates where these go, and they're built in 18 months. It's hard to compete with that, and Trump has now recognized that we're losing the race on power to the Chinese. So the potential policy that came out of that speech, which investors like I noticed, was, wow, maybe we better go find out where we can find stranded natural gas, because our path to permit's going to be reduced down to months instead of years. So that's good news, number one. Number two, I thought the discussion on Greenland, I always believed it was going to be a negotiation. He was never going to attack Greenland and break up NATO. What I heard, basically, and the rest of the world heard too, said, look, guys, we've been funding NATO for a long time. We want something back in return. It's called Greenland. Now, I don't know how that's going to go down that way, but I can certainly see some negotiation that allows Trump to put this, Golden Dome, Iron Dome, whatever you want to call it, that he's trying to build over the North American North. That sounds interesting, and I think he can work his way to getting some kind of deal with NATO and Greenland to put those facilities on. By the way, I've been to Greenland. There's not a lot of land available. You've got Kangerlussuaq, Lillooet, the rest is ice. And so you've just around you've got 150,000 people living on the edge of this giant glacier. But it's still a strategic location, and I think he's going towards some kind of protectorate arrangement, license fee. I don't know what it's going to be, but something that allows him to put up defense systems there, advanced defense systems. But here's the opportunity for investors. Okay, if you want to build a dome of defense over North America, you've got Alaska, where you can put these advanced systems. Now you've got Greenland, assuming a deal's cut, but you don't have Canada. And that's the big slot in the middle. Alaska to the west, Greenland to the east, Canada. So in my head as an investor, I'm thinking, I know that Carney gave a speech hours before snapping at Trump. Trump snapped back at him in about 1 hour and 10 minutes in when he said, Mark, you better think about what you're saying. I think there's a negotiation starting between Canada and Trump and the United States that's going to be very good for both parties. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I went long Canadian dollars today.